Good day, my name is James Herlihy and I will be presenting on communication and the power of perception. Hope you enjoy. Seeing is believing, or is it not? Perception can be defined as a social and cognitive process in which people assign meaning to sensory cues. People often assume that the truth of things exists out there somewhere in what they are seeing, hearing, touching, tasting, and smelling. However, it's important to note that perception of these cues is dictated by the viewpoints, expectations, life experiences, and culture of the perceiving individual. These subjective variables determine which cues are selected, organized, and inferred, thus dictating how communication between the individuals is understood. The direct correlation between varying perceptions and communication lends itself to misunderstanding. Ultimately, each person owns his or her reality and truths based on their values and background. Perception is a very active and voluntary process consisting of 3 steps. Here, an individual decides on a somewhat conscious level which cues to pay close attention to. This process could be influenced by what an individual is physically doing, trying to accomplish, and how they feel both physically and emotionally. Perception is selective, and what we choose to notice affects how we respond to both things and the people around us. The second step is organizing the cues one has selected. Through pattern recognition and simplicity, one organizes and reorganizes the information until it finally clicks. In the text, this moment is described as an "oh, that's what it is" experience. The third and final step is inferring. Here, the individual infers or goes beyond sensory cues to his or her own interpretations. In layman's terms, to infer means to bring definition to something based on personal judgment. It's important to be objective, looking only to actual facts rather than any preconceived notions. Again, objectivity is crucial. After all, each person owns his or her reality based on their own values and backgrounds. Having worked extensively in the Middle East with many employees from the region and Asia, there are nonverbal cues that vary significantly between cultures, and they are eye contact, same-sex affection, expressiveness, and head nodding. In Arab cultures, historically the boys and girls are reared socially separate. This raises the comfort levels of these same-sex, however non-sexual relationships. The men tend to be very affectionate to one another, often kissing on the cheeks as much as 3 times when greeting. Holding hands is even commonplace. In America, however, 2 adult males holding hands would be deemed as homosexual behavior. In many Asian countries, head nodding is a sign of acknowledgement rather than agreement. Even if negating something in conversation, they will still nod as an acknowledgement that one has heard what the other is saying. Conversely, a nod in America typically is a sign of agreement. With language barriers further complicating things, one could easily see how these nonverbal cues and how they directly relate to perception could lead to gross misunderstandings. My personal motto is communication is the key to success, and perception is everything. In the most general sense, the terms communication and communicating label the continuous, complex, collaborative process of verbal and nonverbal meaning-making. Communication is how we as contributing members of society make sense of the world and the people around us. Although communication is comprised of many varying theories and components, perception is paramount. Again, objectivity is crucial to communication. Although it's virtually impossible because we as humans make inferences and judgments on the subconscious level constantly throughout our day, it is ideal to put perception in the back of our mind, thus lending future interactions to a more face-value dialogue and/or communication exchange. I appreciate your time. I hope this finds you well. Be safe and take care.